we're inching ever closer to the Stanley Cup finals, and it's looking good that at least one Canadian team will make it through to the finals.
Of course, we're talking about the Edmonton Oilers, who could clinch a trip to the final tonight. Joining us live for a look at health and hockey is former Canuck captain Trevor Linden. Trevor, great to meet you this morning, and thanks for coming into the studio.
Great
good to see you here.
Yeah.
What do you feel like now as a former player, knowing what it takes to get to the Stanley Cup final? You did it back in 1994, and seeing what these guys are putting out there on the ice night in, night out.
Yeah, I mean, say the obvious. I mean, it's so hard to get there.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get there. And I actually thought this is going to be Toronto's year. I told all my friends in Vancouver who didn't want to hear it that Toronto's going to do it this year, because you got to think eventually things are going to roll their way, right? And I think you got to appreciate how tough it is to get there and how tough it is to win. And only one team wins. You know, there's 31 losers every year.
Yeah.
And that's it's a bitter pill to swallow for a lot of organizations, especially here in Toronto right now with everything that's gone on.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's, turn back to Toronto. It was a sad exit from the second round of the playoffs, and it really did look like a different team in the beginning of the playoffs. I mean, they were winning like 2-0 against the Panthers, and then things just shifted. When you look at the Toronto team and you talk about, look, when things aren't working, you need a shake-up. They've shaken it up. Brendan Shanahan is gone, but we've seen that core four remain. And we know how hard it is to just ditch a player and bring a new one in. What do you think needs to change for Toronto?
Well, I think Brendan did an amazing job. You look back when he started and the situation this organization was in, and the steady hand that Brendan brought was incredible. And every good run comes to an end, so a lot of credit goes to Brendan. He's a friend of mine, and I think he's done an awesome job. But things are going to change. I mean, there's and ultimately they are not in charge of bringing Mitch Marner back. I mean, that's going to be his decision as much as it is Toronto.
Right.
True.
So I mean, he's got a big decision to make, big family decision, big career decision. So how that plays out will be interesting. So, but. That's why we love sports, because we don't know what's going to happen, and they're up 2-0 and they go down, but that's the way things go in sport, and that's why we love it.
Exactly. I mean, look, let's be honest, with the exception of this being the Toronto market, if your team makes the postseason 9 straight seasons, that's pretty good in hockey, right? That's a pretty good record, but in Toronto, the expectations are just that much higher.
And as they should be. They had a team that could have won, and so, they were in it every year, Cup favorites every year, but at the end of the day, things didn't go for them. And you can put it on the players, you can put it on the management, but ultimately things are going to change.
Yeah, and let's talk about the Oilers now. This could be a repeat of what we saw last season, Oilers and Panthers. How are you seeing the Oilers, the team as they are right now, and what do they need to do to finally, win it?
Well, shocked that they're beating Dallas up 3-1 again after last year, because I believe Dallas got a better goaltender. They've got better defense, and they've got a deeper forward group. So, but it goes to show you, when you're Edmonton Oilers, you got the 2 best players in the world. You've always got a chance.
Yeah, exactly. There's a real advantage there. Trevor, let's talk about your career, post-hockey now. You've been retired for several years now. Really, you clearly look incredibly fit and healthy here. Like, what's your trick here? I'm curious, as a 51-year-old myself, I'm not sure exactly how old you are, but what are you doing?
Well, you know what? I think it's probably some genes from my mom and dad. But, when I left the game in 2008, I really, I think I realized fitness and health wasn't just a physical thing; it was a mental health thing. I needed to keep active for my mental health, so that's been part of it. I've been involved with the Canadian Men's Health Foundation. I'm here on behalf of Colgate Total today, just talking about the importance of oral health and how that relates to overall health. And I think that we're all busy, we're all active, and we all want to take care of ourselves. So. The Colgate Total Active Prevention Program is just a way to make sure our oral health we're checking that box, and we all want to be dentist ready, right? We don't, we all have that pit in our stomach when we go to the dentist, like, oh my God, I'm at the dentist. And, the Colgate Total Active Prevention Program, I can trust that I'm going to be in good shape when I go to the dentist. And
Yeah, it's very important. There's so many links to oral health with overall health, gut health, potential cancers. I mean, I try to convince my boys to brush their teeth for longer than 10 seconds every night, but it's a battle. I call them children of the cord now, because that's what their teeth look like. But let's focus on you. Your personal tips for, let's say you're an athlete and you've reached the peak of your career. It's kind of now over. And, there comes a high with reaching a pinnacle. And then when it's gone, you're like, well, what am I doing that for? How do you get that motivation to stay in shape and to, focus on what comes next?
Yeah, I think that especially with men out there, I mean, it's taking care of yourself, and not for you, but for your family, for your friends, for your children, that sort of thing. So I'm a big believer. I think through the Canadian Men's Health Foundation, just with their mental health program, and certainly in hockey, you see it all the time. I mean, it's a tough one when you live your dream out in your 20s, and then in your 30s, you're out the back door, so physical activity is not just a physical thing; it is more a mental health thing, and I think it's important. So, I'm in the fitness business as well, out in Vancouver, and just so.
What do you do? Sorry, do you cycle, run, weight
I do
lift?
a little bit of everything. Obviously, I love to push weight. I think strength training now is bigger than ever. I mean, whether you're 25 or 75.
You got it.
My parents are 85. They live in Medicine Hat, and they're pushing weight. Because it keeps your bone healthy, keep strong, keep your balance up. And so I think those types of things are bigger than ever. For me personally, I love to be outdoors. I love to ski in the winter and ride my bike. But it doesn't have to be anything extreme. I think a lot of people, if you're out, take a mental health break and go for a walk with a buddy. That is not only good for your physical side of things, but it's good for your mental health.
Absolutely.
As well.
All right, I got a dentist appointment coming up on Monday, so I'm getting ready for that.
Colgate Total Active Prevention Program, and you won't have to worry about a thing. Trust me on that.
Trevor, good to see you this morning. Thanks for the comment.
Nice to meet you,
Appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Thanks so much.